Okay, moving on. So what are stem cells? What are the different types of stem cells? So if you can respond to that, tell me what are stem cells, right? You guys just did your presentation on stem cell. And if you know different type of stem cell, you can also mention that, right? Are there only one type of stem cell? Or are there more? So why is stem cell so important? Why do we hear about stem cell all the time, right? Especially next year, you guys will get to vote. And guess what? You're gonna start seeing all these bill and ballot that fill with prop this and prop that, and it contains stem cell research. So it's good to understand about stem cell. So we can say that all stem cell can do two things. They can self-renew. That means they can divide, they can reproduce from one into multiple, and they can differentiate. They can have different jobs, right? Because they're toddler, they have potential to become so many things. We can kind of nudge them a little bit for them to become certain things. It's like your parent, right? When you were a toddler, sometimes your parent kind of like push you into one field, then the other, right? To tell you, hey, be this, be that. Okay. And that's what stem cell can do. They can cell renew, make more stem cell, and they can differentiate, become different jobs. Cell renew like this, right? Divide, they can keep dividing and dividing from 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, whatever. More and more and more. So you can have a lot of stem cell. And differentiation is like this. They can either divide more stem cell or they become a specific cell, right? It can become a specific cell. It can become a skin cell, a nerve cell, muscle cell, heart cell, whatever, right? They become different type of cell. I'm gonna skip this, but it's supposed to show you that it can become a neuron, brain cell. It can become a skin cell, and so on. All right. When we speak of stem cell, right, you guys probably know this by now because you did the reading, right? But not many people know about stem cell, right? Because I hear people talk about stem cell on TV, in conversation, right? I have friends that when they mention stem cell, they just mention stem cell as a whole. But no, there are different types of stem cell, right? Because some people, when they talk about stem cell and how controversial stem cell is, how they support stem cell research or they don't support stem cell research. And when I ask them about stem cell, they don't know the exact stem cell they're talking about. They just putting all the stem cell into this one group of stem cell called embryonic stem cell. Because embryonic stem cell come from embryo. Embryo are like unborn baby. After the sperm and the egg fuse, combine, it become an embryo. So when people talk about stem cell research, most people are like, oh no, I'm against stem cell research because they use unborn baby, they use embryo. And that's because all they know of stem cell are embryonic stem cell. But you guys are smarter than that, right? You guys did your reading. You know that there's more than one type of stem cell. Beside embryonic stem cell, which is what we call pluripotent. Embryonic stem cell pluripotent. That means it can form almost, not all, almost any type of cell in the human body. And that's why most research, they use embryonic stem cell in the past, because that embryonic stem cell can be changed into different type of cell, almost different type of cell in the body. The only type of cell embryonic stem cell cannot become is sex cell, right? And sex cell are sperm and egg cell. Embryonic stem cell cannot be nudged or cannot be forced to become sex cell. And that's why they can become almost anything except for sex cells or gamete. And that's why we call them pluripotent. Pluri mean multiple, right? Like singular, plural, pluripotent. So most people, when they focus on stem cell, they think of embryonic stem cell. But there's other type of stem cell too. They are what we call tissue specific, or we call them adult stem cell. Adult stem cell, what we call multipotent. Pluripotent, there's a max totipotent. If you guys did your reading, totipotent is like the max. If the cell is totipotent, it can become any type of cell. And totipotent cell are your sex cell, sperm and egg. Pluripotent is one level down. Multipotent is another level down. And multipotent are your adult stem cell. Adult stem cell can become only limited cell. For example, it can become like blood, brain, liver. It's like you have heart adult stem cell in your heart, and that adult stem cell can only become heart cell. Make sense? It's like you have skin stem cell in your skin, and that skin stem cell can only become skin cell. And maybe something else a little bit, but it doesn't become too many things. All right. And then the science in stem cell it got a kickstart. The scientists able to do what we call as induced pluripotent stem cell. And this is what changed the stem cell field, because scientists able to engineer stem cell, adult stem cell, to think like an embryonic stem cell. And this is the reason why they slowly might no longer need embryonic stem cell from embryo. So that way, if people complain, I don't support stem cell research, I support stem cell research, whatever. Now you can communicate with them, say, hey, but nowadays you don't really need, well, research still use embryonic, because not all adult stem cell can be forced to become embryonic stem cell again. But anyway, the science is there. Scientists can now engineer. That means they can fix the genetic message of an adult stem cell to make it think like an embryonic stem cell. It's just kind of like thinking of taking an adult human and you put some work in them, and then you make them think like they are a little toddler. So then they now can learn to become whatever they want. Make sense? So that is what we call induced pluripotent stem cell. And that's why when you have a conversation with other people about stem cell, please ask them, what are you talking about? Are you talking about embryonic stem cell, like straight out from an embryo? Or are you talking about adult stem cell, which come from an adult? Any adult human will have an adult stem cell. We all carry adult stem cell in our body right now. Or are you talking about induced pluripotent? That means taking adult stem cell to make it think like it is an embryonic stem cell. So now, maybe slowly in the future, we might no longer need embryonic stem cell, right? So then that way, it doesn't have to be controversial anymore. All right, so hopefully you guys say something like that in your presentation. Okay, moving on. Any questions so far? No? This is kind of messed up here, but this just show you how they induce a adult stem cell. So this is an adult stem cell. They would inject in a different genetic information to make the cell think, right? This is a cell right here. To make a cell think that it is an embryonic stem cell, right? So they want in vitro fertilization. They allow the cell to divide, fertilize the divide. Right? Cell embryo, see, this is now become embryonic. So then they can take out the embryonic cell. They let it divide more. They can collect more embryonic cell. Right? And again, depend on who you talk to, right? Some people say, oh, this is considered living now because it comes from eggs and sperm. But some people said, no, it's not really living because it's not really a human looking structure yet. So, all right. Okay, so I just want to show you how they produce embryonic stem cell, how they collect embryonic stem cells. See, all these cells right now is considered embryonic stem cell. They will come in and they will collect them. And again, we don't have, well, right now there is a sign of induced pluripotent stem cell. That means taking adult stem cell and change it into embryonic stem cell. All right, earlier I mentioned that word totipotent. Remember totipotent? Totipotent are cells that can become any type of cell. It's like the maximum level. And the only two types of cell that can become any type of cell is what we call eggs and sperm, right? Because from an egg and sperm, you can come up into any type of cell. And then embryonic stem cell is what we call pluripotent. because they can only become almost any type of cell except for egg and sperm. Okay. All right, human embryonic stem cell culture again. There's just some more picture, right? This just show you how do they know which one is embryonic stem cell when they collect. Well, they put color dyes, and then anything that's kind of like show up in different color, that they know that's the embryonic stem cell they're gonna collect to treat, right? So again, this list might be a little, it was an update. I mean, I got this from like 2 years ago. So science might have been moving faster than this list. Okay? Currently, stem cells are used to treat blood diseases, like people that have abnormal white blood cell or not enough white blood cell, red blood cell, and all that stuff, right? You can use stem cell. You can use stem cell, blood stem cell, adult blood stem cell, and you change the method for it to become whatever blood cell you want it to become, right? So now that person don't have to go through dialysis treatment and all that stuff. They can use to treat genetic metabolic disorder. People that have their metabolism are running a little different, right? Tissue and organ replacement, right? A symbol, okay? For example, skin cell, right? Now they can do, if you guys remember, for those of you guys that went to the UCI open house, stem cell research open house, they did the skin replacement, right? Instead of taking skin from from your body somewhere else when you have a burn, extreme burn, they take out your skin stem cell, adult skin stem cell, and then they grow it, and then they use that cell, and then they patch it back on the skin. So now it's just your own skin cell. Tissue organ, right? There was another research on for people with visual impaired, people that can't see. They're able to take stem cell and they grow they able to give the person the vision back and stuff, right? So there's multiple things. Potential to treat would be heart disease, right? Having your heart stem cell or taking a stem cell to fix up whatever problem you have with the heart, maybe valve, maybe anything, so that way it can grow back. Neurological disease, Parkinson, right? Especially nerve, right? Brain stem cell to become nerve cell. Spinal cord injury, for example. Diabetes, right? Having stem cell, because when people are diabetic, they don't have enough insulin, because their body don't have cell to produce enough insulin, or their cell don't recognize insulin. So now maybe having stem cell to become those cells that recognize insulin or produce enough insulin. This is blindness right here. This is what I was saying about macular degeneration for blindness, having stem cell to help people see again. Cancer, HIV, spinal cord injury is a big study, right? People are doing stem cell spinal cord therapy to allow the person some type of movement back. And again, these are the potential, right? If they might have been treatment now, but it's getting there. And that's why the potential of stem cell is huge, large. I sound like Trump now. Move on. All right, another example would be bone marrow transplant, right? Stem cell. Taking stem cell from your marrow and then grow that stem cell and then inject that stem cell back into the patient. So that patient have, because they have blood cell abnormal level of different type of blood cell. So using stem cell to grow and then inject back into that person. And the cool thing is that when you collect stem cell from the adult stem cell from that same person, guess what? It's your own cell. So you don't have to worry about your body rejecting it. And that's the cool thing about stem cell, right? And the sign of taking adult stem cell and make them think like baby stem cell now, your own adult stem cell to become baby stem cell, is good, because now you can take those stem cell to become any type of cell in your body that you need replacement. And we'll talk more about, we have another article that I want you guys to read next week. All right. So stem cell those stem cells are powerful and promising because right now, remember, we have that induced pluripotent stem cell. That means we don't always need an embryonic stem cell. We don't always need to kill an embryo to collect stem cell. We have the science. It might not be 100% yet, but we have the science of taking a dose stem cell and convert them into an embryonic stem cell. Okay. All right, this is what we call induced pluripotent stem cell, right? This is what we're talking about. Taking your regular skin cell, changing their message, the gene, the DNA, and they start to become embryonic stem cell. So that way now you can take this embryonic stem cell and convert it into whatever cell you want it to be. All right, I'm gonna skip this. Okay, what can I do? Don't forget to do your summary. All right.